Practice makes man perfect. In group activity, you need lot of practice. Hi, I'm Captain Deval Soni. Once again with another interesting group activity, and I've been fortunate enough to train thousands of aspiring cadet pilots and 3,500 plus pilots, seatbelt holders, aspiring pilots for different KI as well. And before that, I would like to congratulate all our students who have cleared air investigation process, and we have showed an outstanding result. They have cleared the investigation process quite because they really have worked a lot, and they've got a lot of practice, and we have shown 93% of a result. So let's start another group activity. This is very interesting. There's a emergency. One of the aircraft had a single engine failure, and due to some technical issues, in fact, both reverse thrusters thrust reversers are not working, and in fact, the braking capabilities is also limited. So there are two options available for the pilot. Pilot will be doing the emergency landing. One runway is long but slippery. It's slippery and narrow as well. The another runway is wide but short, and it is dry and rough also. So which runway the pilot should land? So the group activity starts now.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. We are gathered here to have a group discussion on the topic. So, we have been given a condition where a pilot is landing from Delhi to Mumbai, and the aircraft has no reverse thrust and his engines have failed. And he has been given two options of runways. One is wide and dry and rough, and the other one is narrow and slippery and long. So let's just start.
There is starting. Uh, I would like to start the GD.
I'll keep the tension.
Yeah. The first point I want to know is that personally I choose to land on a short and wide runway because it's rough and dry, so there is no friction. So, and also provided the engine is failed with flight, aircraft don't have thrust, lot of thrust, and it don't have speed, and the speed decreases gradually because of there is no thrust, and till the pilot make it to the runway, so the aircraft don't have thrust and it will get slow, and I don't think so it's need a longer runway because of the speed, and also why I didn't choose the first runway is because it's slippery. It's there is a water on runway, so it will get slip, and aircraft will take wider long runway. So that's it. The runway, because the runway being rough and dry, the friction is high, and the runway gets slow easily. Next,
So to follow up his question, I stand with his opinion that going for dry and rough runway, and my reason being is that opting for a dry and long runway would simply state that it's a contaminated runway, because it's a water is present there and it's slippery one. So I state that there will be no friction. The friction force will oppose the aircraft to overshoot the runway because it's not slippery, and the runway which is long and which is slippery would not oppose the aircraft, and it would overshoot the runway. And the reason I go for the short runway would be that it's a short haul flight going from Mumbai to Delhi, and there is a mid-engine failure. So I can understand that there would be no enough thrust or power left in the aircraft, and till it goes to a landing position in an emergency flight, the runway would be enough because it's a short one. So I would say that there would be enough friction to stop the aircraft in the short runway.
To further add upon your point, that longer runway provides more distance for the plane to stop. which is a critical point, and it is limited. It is having limited braking capability because of the since there's less brake available and there's no the reverse thrust is not available. So because of the longer runway, we are able to stop the plane more accurately, and also longer runway will allow plane to come to a stop, which I mentioned. So that is, I believe, that can be one point of additional point to your statement.
As my friend Anshudup said, I would like to go with the notion that longer runway is much more suitable than the shorter runway. I know shorter runway has friction, but there are chances that it will overrun or it will overshoot. Longer runway has more distance, so there are chances that the plane will get deaccelerate. You know, in aviation, I would say when there are when there is system is compromised, the runways are live. You know that what we says in aviation. So as the plane will land, if the runway would be longer, I know there is that is slippery, so it won't be having that much friction. But since there is a lot more space, the aircraft can decelerate with time. You know.
I would like to add to this point because we don't have a reverse thrust, so the dry and the rough surface will offer better friction, and since the plane doesn't have any reverse thrust, its de-acceleration will depend heavily on the friction. And coming to the slippery runway, it's also narrow, so there's this crosswind, the factor of crosswinds, that if there are crosswinds blowing, then the pilot may have some problems of controlling the aircraft as well.
We are done with 5 minutes, so pretty special. We like to the 7 minutes.
So, yeah, I would like to add one point. Like, there is a factor of crosswind and headwinds also. So, pilot has to consider the headwinds also. Depends on that. Pilot will meet pitch.
So now, considering the long runway and it's narrow, so the main agenda here is the slippery runway, it's a contaminated runway. Now the aircraft has to be stopped before it overshoots the runway. Now, considering it's a long runway, we don't know if it will overshoot or not. Being it a narrow runway, there is no chance that we would put the aircraft out of the runway. Now, a short runway has much more space, so we can disembark the passengers outside of the runway. Because ultimately, a short runway would be more enough as there is an engine failure, and there would be no much more power to exhaust the aircraft out of the runway. So I would stand that a short runway would be more enough, and it would be much more beneficial for the risk of the passengers, because contaminated runway, we can't stand a chance that it may also overshoot. But the dry runway has a wide space in the runway, so there's a chance that we can put the aircraft outside of the runway as well.
But it can overshoot as well, right? Because so it's a short runway, right? There is a friction, there is a roughness. I know, I would agree with the point, but still, you know, when the system are compromised, you know, and you need to deaccelerate the plane, you need to stop the plane. If the runway is longer, right, you have the time to deaccelerate the plane, right? That is the much more important thing, because if your runway is short, there are chances that with friction, I know the speed can be minimized, but still there might be chances that you can risk the light and you can overshoot.
Correct. But the long runway has water in it. And if we try to turn the aircraft slightly, it would skid because of the water present over there. But in a short runway, that won't be the case. So there would be less harm to the people and the aircraft in a short runway rather than the long runway, because it's too risky to land on the long runway with no engines. And the reverse thrust as well.
I would also like to
Please.
add a point to what my friend Vivek said, that provided the engine failed mid-flight, so I don't think so aircraft have a lot of speed. Like I don't think so it's needed longer runway. Like since there is no speed, the aircraft is not balanced, so it can go right or left, like far away. So it needs a wide runway and shorter runway because there is no speed.
We are with 5 minutes.
To further add upon your point, I would like to mention my friend mentioned that on the rough runway which is there. If we try to apply brakes on the rough runway, there are chances that the aircraft tilts. So instead of using the rough runway, we can probably think about using the longer runway, which is slippery, but it has a longer distance to cover, so that it can so that the aircraft can stop, despite there be lesser friction.
Okay, to add on to your point that you said that the aircraft would tilt. So I think that the aircraft would not having such power that the aircraft will tilt. And considering the opinion you said that there is a the long runway should be opted out. So I would say that the long runway would not create enough friction so that the RPM of the wheels would lessen out. But in the rough runway, the RPM of the wheels would be more beneficial because it's a dry surface and it will stop the aircraft eventually. But in the slippery runway, there are no chances. We can't risk out there. So we should go with the best option. And I would think, from my opinion, the short runway would be the best option available right now due to less power in the aircraft. There is no thrust created right now.
I'll agree with Ved.
I also.
I would agree with Anshudeep here though, because the aircraft will not tilt because of its path, but because of the rough runway. The runway is not only short, but it is also dry and rough. The other runway, however, is long, slippery though, but it is long and it will give us time to decrease the speed of the aircraft.
Yeah, we don't know that aircraft is how much speed. Two engines are failure. We are, I think we are coming to very speed. That time is going to long runway is taking too much times. Then short runway is the because dry and rough is there. No, it's over the tires and is we have a limited brakes. No, we can use that limited brakes. That it's okay to safe landing in short runway.
We have fluid last 30 seconds.
I believe we should come to a conclusion. So, someone would like to mention the conclusion?
You don't come to conclusion now. Half of the part is only the like guide. Firstly, we should decide of which should be the. I think we should conclude it that way only. Because no one changed the ruby.
Yeah.
So it's better to conclude it.
Majority.
So I would like to conclude that majority of my teammates said that shorter runway is the best as it has high friction and the aircraft, the pilot has the more space, the wider space to stop the plane. But half of my one fourth of my teammates said the longer runway would be great. Why? Because it's a contaminated runway, I know, but still we have limited brakes and contaminated runway means it doesn't have any friction or a zero friction. There is a friction, but it's much more lesser than the rough and the dry runway. So yeah, we have a longer, more distance to stop to decelerate the plane. So yeah, that is what I would like to conclude, that half of my teammates are agreed with a shorter runway, half of my teammates are agreed with a longer runway. So yeah.
Okay, good.
What do you think? What should be the right answer according to you?
So how many of you suggested longer runway? 1, 2, 3, and 5 suggested the
Short.
In my choice, I would like to go with minority. So we have to understand that there will be a logic. In my understanding, see, you don't have reverse thrust. Okay. And then you have limited braking? Limited brakes. Now imagine you have a limited brakes.
Plus friction.
Plus you don't have reverse thrust at all. Okay. You need runway.
Yeah.
You need a longer runway. So if the runway is short, you won't be able to stop within the runway length. So the chances of overshooting the runway becomes very high in case of a shorter this thing. Okay. So that is the reason it was given the question, no reversal, limited brakes and all those things. Okay. However, agree, slippery surfaces reduces friction, but length is very crucial at this point of time. Otherwise, you tell me how will you stop the aircraft? You tell me. If you don't have reverse thrust, and if you have a limited brakes, how will you will stop only using the limited brakes. That's the only thing you have. तो ये तो बहुत risky हो गया. It is very dangerous.
We have the limited brakes and in sea we need more to
He's like, yeah, but you are given the other way. You are giving only a shorter runway, so it's a big, this thing.
Try your duck no. If you go to the tire of thing.
Rough है तो it doesn't mean that you will be able to stop it in this thing, in a shorter runway, and it is you have an engine failure also, and then what else?
Till brakes, like reverse thrust.
Limited brakes and all those things. Okay.
System does not.
इतना कुछ है. So the shorter runway will not be an ideal, this thing as per me. Okay. ठीक है. However, I'll come to this thing, the final this thing. Okay. So why not short runway? Okay. True that it offers a better friction, but the short length is a major safety concern. Okay, with high landing speed and poor braking reverse capability, the plane risks overshooting the runway, which is a critical hazard. Now, I know that somebody told that you mentioned that the speed might be lesser if it is single engine. No, the approach speed remains the same only. If the approach speed is, let's say you come with two engine, your approach speed is 140. With single engine also, it's going to be the same.
But sir, do single engines have reverse thrust?
They do have. At least they have reverse thrust in one engine. The operative engine. But in this question, they have mentioned it is not operative in both the engines. Okay, and they have not mentioned crosswind also. Did they mention any crosswind is there? So that risk is also not there. We cannot assume. That is also there. So looking at this compromised braking ability, this way the runway length becomes a top priority. Okay, so the longer slippery runway to maximize the decelerated distance, even if it is narrow and sleek. Got it? So yeah. So, and in actual flight, you have an EFB. So what do? You basically put in the EFB, you calculate the performance. So let's say you have an option of 2 runways. So you will put both the runways and you will see which is coming under your performance, and then you take decision based on that. ठीक है? ज़्यादा हमको दिमाग नहीं लगाना. हमको दोनों डाटा डालना है उसके अंदर और देखना है वो EFB will tell you this has this benefit, and based on that, using this EFB, you calculating this performance, you take or it will aid you to make a decision. सब उसमें आता है. Single engine fail, no reverse thrust, okay, slippery runway, what is the depth of the water on the runway, the friction, the friction, the type of surface, kitna contamination, all those things, everything you can put in that. Runway length, everything that it will calculate and will tell you whether it is coming under your performance or not, to assist in decision making. Clear?
Yes.
Everyone? So yes. Time for a feedback?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think, Anjal?
I should have spoken more.
You should, Anjal. There was only one contribution, and that too came at a very towards the end. I think maybe at 7th or 8th minute approximately. So, बोलना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? That is the only thing I can tell you. Yes, Ansh. Okay, yes, Ansh. I think you are giving me a lot of time. Eye contact. So, have an eye contact with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, fine. Everything is fine. Okay. Manjushri, so crosswind, you assumed crosswind. It was not the case. So, please don't assume anything. Don't come up with your and assume things. Okay? Ritika, what happened?
Sir, first time nervous.
Yeah. Okay. So next time I want to see a lot of talking from both. I'll tell you. So from both of you, I need a lot of talking. All right. Yes, Anshudeep.
Yes.
What do you think? What went well?
What we built? So, I think clarity. Then,
Okay. What didn't go well?
so I think I could have spoken more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fine. Yes, Manjuna. What went well?
Sorry, never but fix my first law.
Yeah. Okay. What didn't go well? What didn't go well? How was your group activity?
So we try more.
Yeah. What else? What else you will do? You will speak more. Right?
I want to practice, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Vivek, a lot of fumbles is coming in your communication, and okay, ये बहुत ध्यान रखो इन चीज़ों का. ये this is a sign of body language, this thing. माइनस चला जाएगा, ठीक है? And fillers बहुत आ रहे हैं, ठीक है? So need to work on this. Saket, again you also had the fumble, fillers, okay? And so need to work, ठीक है? So ठीक है ना? और बाकी सब लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ काम करने की ज़रूरत है. Anshdeep ठीक था, but I want more improvement, more polish.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
First, how to control anxiety? Why we are in this? So I was just
Versus anxiety, sir. Genuinely, this is like my first time, okay, right? Especially away from home and all. So I was so nervous during everything that I couldn't, take my chance to speak.
So that is a good thing, and because you will be tense there as well. So if you really get to such an atmosphere, so I would say get more of anxiety, more practice of all those things will make you very comfortable. Hopefully will make you comfortable over there. That is the reason we do a lot of times practice. That's the only key solution to it. Okay, so that's a good sign. Okay, so not only you, everybody will go under this anxiety, worry, those hesitations. Okay, but don't worry. You just see yourself after 3 or 4 group activity. You just see I'm giving you a challenge. You will see a lot of improvement in you. Okay, उसके लिए मैं हूँ, ठीक है?
second, I want to ask how to conclude when few people are agreeing with some other.
Absolutely, I think you did it very absolutely nice way that you said. I think because now the time is getting over and everybody is not everybody doesn't have the same opinion. So some of them have would like to go for this, and some like absolutely fine. Okay, and it's not like that as well. That if you have decided the let's say option 1, you cannot change. You can change nicely. I think yes. I think I never thought about this. I think thanks Pradeshi for telling me. I think after listening to your point, even I would also like to change my answer to it. That is fine. And if you're sticking to your logic, absolutely fine, no problem. Okay, but be nice. That's very important. Okay, so good luck. We'll do more practice and we'll make you better. All right, chalo, see you. So if you are looking to clear your cadet selection process for Indigo, Air India, Fly Dubai, Air Arabia, Qatar, Emirates, and even if you are from any nationality, even if you're American, European, or from Middle East, a Japanese from Nepal, or from Australia, New Zealand, even if you are looking to clear your cadet selection process, even in your country like Scoot or ATR or any cadet pilot program, we will be happy to train you, assist you, and make your dream fly. Yeah, see you in the next group activity session.